Today, two normal home cooks trying to guess 4 global cooking methods, and they get a chance to give them a go.
Chicken in.
Chicken in.
Chicken in hay.
Whoa!
It features meat and vegetables inside of your testy.
Madness.
All you have to do is lift the cloche and guess the cooking technique.
You do it.
Hey!
Oh, straight away, I think we're going to burn it. I've seen this done in Michelin-star restaurants where they're lighting the hay and they're creating smoke around the, well, that's very farmy, around the meat or around a very delicate fish.
I thought it was just a good way of cooking eggs so that you get a bird's nest and you just set it on fire and you smoke the eggs from the inside out.
You're both close, but not quite there. This is a technique from France called enfoin, and it literally means in hay.
In hay.
In hay.
But we're not burning the hay. Instead, we're going to cook an entire chicken without adding any fat or any seasoning.
But with some heat?
In hay.
Some heat?
Some heat. So I'll give you a bit more in the way of hay. What you're going to do is take a Dutch oven. You're going to fill it with hay, put an entire chicken inside. Don't season it. The whole thing just goes in, and then you seal it shut. It needs to be sealed shut with a pastry seal, and then cooked for an hour or so.
So you're packing it like you would pack a hamper?
Yeah.
But with
I thought you were going to say a hamster. I was like, don't cook hamsters this way.
But the strangest thing you've said to us just then is pastry.
Yep. So twice the flour to water.
But that's a whole chicken in this.
Pastry?
To seal it shut.
Not to eat?
No, just to create a perfect seal.
World's worst pie. So it's going to smoke in there, isn't it? It's going to get very hot.
It's going to be like grassy chicken. And then chicken.
Chicken in.
Madness. This is the fake. Found the fake, I found it.
Great.
Hay on top?
Well, just make sure there's no, it's not, but no contact point of the Dutch oven to the chicken. You don't want it to roast or sear or fry. It is just basically steaming in its own juices and that of the hay. You're so right though, Baz. In recent years, Michelin-star chefs have started to adopt it and bring it back because, and we'll find out later, a very unique flavour from a chicken that hasn't had fat seasoning added to it, but is cooked in hay.
And when we're talking about stuff escaping, it's the steam and therefore the flavour and the moisture.
Because you're not adding anything into this.
Lovely.
And then once you've got a dough that will essentially roll out to a long sausage that goes round the rim of the pan.
This is mad.
Now it goes into an oven. In our case, traditionally it would be into a hearth or an open fire for about an hour.
Okay.
At 180, 190 degrees Celsius. Then let it rest for another 20 minutes and we'll see where we end up.
Before you lift that off, the smell.
Ready? Now get your head in. I think. Oh no!
Oh, it's farmyardy.
It smells of wet grass now.
Wet,
it's
steamy, hot grass. Oh.
Dust off some of the hay on top and then pull out the chicken.
Out of its nest. Now what do you do?
Do I wash it?
Now a couple of options. You can either just brush away the hay and then butter it and glaze it under a hot grill. But I think for what this is and its simplicity, remember we haven't even seasoned it. Let's have a taste and then you would season it up at the end. So we can then have some compound butter to serve alongside some hot slices of chicken.
I can't believe that hay has imparted any flavour, surely. What's happened is the room smells farmy now, and therefore, so the chicken tastes it.
But in isolation, I'm searching for the flavour that it's added to the chicken.
What does hay taste like?
Grass. And what we've got is an incredibly succulent, very juicy, well-cooked chicken, but I'm not sure there's any flavour being imparted from the hay.
I don't think it's made the chicken taste better.
But the
it's-
farm to table element.
Yeah, that bit works.
And again, going back to why a lot of Michelin starred chefs are using it, there is a theatre to it. And there is an element of whether you're smoking the hay or whether you're steaming it the way that this has been done, you do actually pick up some of that nuance at the table.
I can barely taste the difference.
That was strong. I thought it was going to be weak, but it was strong.
Baffled by the process, not blown away by the results is what I'm kind of gauging here.
I think that's a great summary.
Okay, well, should we move on to something else? From somewhere else on the continent?
Quite thirsty.
Oh.
When we moved to this new studio last year, we said that we wanted to make it as much your home as it is ours. And since then, we've hosted community here for filming days, events, food, drink, research sessions. There's been tons, but there's a problem. You see, we're based in London, and most of you aren't. So can we get more of you access to us, the studio, and everything that happens behind the scenes here at Sorted? Well, we've spent the last couple of months kitting out the whole studio with a bunch of spy cameras and this mission control. Although for legal reasons, I think we have to call them remote security operated cameras and a gallery. From here, we can live stream everything that's happening in the studio, in Cush's kitchen, and I think we can even zoom in to see what Ebbers is looking at on his laptop. On second thoughts, that might not be the best idea. The plan is that we'll go live during filming days, psychic recipe labs, and other times there's exciting stuff happening in the studio, and one of us will be here to chat you all through it. You'll be able to access the live streams and a bunch of other exclusive features through YouTube memberships, which does come with a monthly fee. But can you really put a price on watching Cush and Pumpy's relationship grow during work hours? If you want more info, head to our channel page and click join.
Number 2, where are we going now?
Where are we going now?
1,571 degrees Fahrenheit. That is hot. Ooh, that is weighty.
Yeah, that's still 850 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, just say really hot.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're at like glowing red
Yes,
temperature.
absolutely.
So therefore it's going to involve some smoke
Yep.
and some scalding.
It's from Germany originally, if that helps.
Ah, it's that way up.
It's German, okay?
German.
What do the Germans love to... Oh! Oh my God,
dancing?
no. I've seen this. They put it in beer.
They do put it in beer.
They put it in beer.
They put it in beer.
Would you like to poke my beer?
Yes.
What?
So traditionally from Germany, it's called Bierstacheln,
Okay.
and it literally means beer poking or beer spiking.
Even when you're reading it, you don't sound confident.
So we've given you a German beer. Now this does definitely work best with sort of stout or dark amber beers, something quite malty, because what you're essentially doing is caramelizing some of the residual sugars in the beer, and kind of a combination of that and a Maillard reaction, you get a creamy, warm foam head, but you should still have cold beer.
What? No.
So you poke the whole beer, but only the head gets hot.
It's only being poked for a couple of seconds.
So it's still a cold beer.
While Barry is heating that, and that will take a minute or so, Jay can start to fill our beer.
You shouldn't operate that after that. So I'll be the tester.
I'm doing something that I know 100% of the viewers want to do. I'm so happy doing it.
Plenty hot enough.
Okay. I can see the haze around that. That
Yep.
is scary.
A few seconds in, see what happens.
Ready?
You don't need to stir it, just in.
3, 2, 1.
Whoa!
Job done. Careful, the end is still hot.
What?
It's the hot cold thing.
Hot head, cold beer. And a completely different flavour.
That is so comforting and refreshing at the same time.
You are right about it taking the edge of the coldness of the beer, though.
Yeah, therefore you can taste more of the beer straight away.
Yeah.
But you also get all the aromas from the foam.
Now, traditionally, apparently, this began with blacksmiths, and they would literally put their hot pokers in their fire, and it was very cold in their workshop, so it would just take the edge off the beer, because that style of beer doesn't benefit from being drunk at 1, 2, 3 degrees. So it takes the edge off, but more importantly, it transforms the sugars in the beer to give you this cooked, toasted, caramelized beer.
I feel like I'm standing in snowy Germany, but only with a woolly jumper on and nothing else. A cold below, hot up top.
Can we AI that?
With a tiny rod.
With a very small rod.
Wow.
That's really cool. I've never heard of that before. That's amazing.
Beer spiking or beer poking or beer caramelization, all delicious. Do you want another one?
Yeah.
France and Germany so far. Where next?
Your turn. Okay. I think the first two have been really strong. I'm hoping this is just as crazy.
Instant coffee?
Yes.
Okay.
Not instant, but it's ground coffee. Where in the world? What have you seen? It's a flavour combination
Italian?
we have
What-
tried once or twice before on the channel.
What blend is it? Is it Italian?
No, he's talking about flavour combinations. So coffee and ice cream, affogato.
Delicious combination.
Not that one.
A cooking method. This particular one originates, we think, in somewhere like Texas.
Coffee,
Barbecue coffee.
steak.
Coffee and steak.
Coffee and steak.
Oh, do you cure it in
More
coffee?
specifically, a coffee rub. So it is thought that this originated with cowboys who would have ample supply of steak and therefore would be quite experimental, but limited supply of other ingredients, fresh spices and herbs and all sorts. So coffee was something they always had on them, and coffee, salt and sugar was the simplest of rubs. Rub it on a nice dry steak and sear it, and it gives you not necessarily a coffee flavour, but a depth and an umami. Plus, the acidity from the coffee can help to tenderize steak if you leave it on there longer as a marinade. The thing to remember is coffee is often roasted at very high temperatures anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem in a hot pan.
Going in.
Madness. It's saying something when this is the one that makes the most sense so far out of the batch today.
Coffee rub.
It's still crazy.
Comment down below, have you poked a beer, cooked a chicken in hay, or used a coffee rub?
Because the coffee cooks so quickly, you have no choice but to cook it quickly. So you're going to have a medium rare steak.
Yeah.
Serve that with some Texan beans. It's cowboy dinner. This is a dry rub, but other modern versions might mix it with something like Worcestershire sauce to make into more of a marinade that's very strong and bold. The acidity again helping to soften and marinate and tenderize steak. It can be put on lamb or pork, but actually it needs something really bold like beef to stand up to.
I do wonder though, Baz, like you said about brisket or something, I do wonder whether that coffee would work as a brisket rub. Low, slow.
Oh, absolutely. And on
18
ribs.
hours.
Coffee
yeah.
ribs are amazing.
Cheers. It doesn't taste like steak. It's the texture is steak. But the flavour of the sugars, I'd say the biggest factor in that. Take it away from from tasting like steak.
It is sweet and bitter.
Sticky and earthy and savoury.
Yeah.
With the sugar, it would be too sweet.
Yeah.
The coffee brings it back and gives it the bitterness that you need.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the
you
other way around. This is the coffee rub, and the sugar pulls back the bitterness.
Interesting.
Not, the
Other way
coffee
around.
was the first and
But,
foremost.
they need each other.
Yeah.
Without one, it would be horrible.
Yeah. That is so interesting.
So simple, because most people will have those ingredients at home, so you can give it a go. Well,
Brilliant.
how about one more?
If we must,
Top that.
it can't get weirder, can it?
Last one for today. Where are we going now?
Where the heck are we going?
I don't know.
Pottery class.
Yes.
Are we about to cook in clay?
Clay pot.
Clay pot for sure. You said pottery. If you'd have said pottery in Turkish, you'd have been closer.
I don't know.
No, yeah.
Testi. What's so funny about that? It's with an I. This is a kebab, but it is a testi kebab.
Oh, is it like it's a testi kebab? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Ooh,
Testi
okay.
being Turkish for pottery.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're cooking You're cooking in the testy.
That's the biggest testy I've seen for a while.
So we warm that up. What?
We're going to make a kebab in it.
How?
In it?
There are dozens of different kebabs in Turkey. And this one is made in a clay pot. Originating from Cappadocia, it features meat and vegetables inside of your testy, sealed up and baked off. We've given you some lamb, some onion, some pepper, some mushrooms, some tomatoes, some parsley, a mixture of spices, cumin, paprika, salt, pepper, a little bit of liquid in the form of beer, and you just mix it all together with some tomato paste. And then the whole thing, mixed up meat and veg, goes into our testy, and that's what we cook.
So there's no, wait a minute, but there's no stick.
So if we talk about the etymology of the word kebab, it literally means cooked meat. Now, it would traditionally, we're talking origins of language and the word, be over open fire. So it was often done on a stick, grilled or roasted. So we have come to know kebabs as cooked meat on stick, or vegetable kebabs now, which is definitely not kebab. It literally means cooked meat in an open fire. Typically on a kebab, however, by doing it in this, you still put it into the fire, job done.
I mean, this is going to be a delicious mix. So now spoon
it inside, try not to get any on the rim.
Because it doesn't look like it's as a shape. It doesn't look like it's been designed for food. It looks like it's been designed for holding flowers.
Yeah.
As a shape.
It may well have started that way. I don't know. But remember, think about Turkey and the open fires and ovens for baking lots of bread, lots of flat bread. At the end of the day, and it often was the end of the day, when the ovens are cooling down, this was put in. So it's a long, slow cook, several hours inside of this, and then it'd be ready later on in the day after the morning breads have all been baked at a higher temperature. And then you can splash a bit of beer in, any liquid, any stock, a bit of beer we've got, but do the job. A bit more. Lovely. Lots of juices will come out of all those vegetables.
So we're making a stew.
We're making a stew.
We're making a stew in a vase.
In a clay pot.
It's a testy stew.
It's a testy stew.
And obviously you want to seal all the goodness in. And you know how to do that now.
Another pastry lid.
Little bit of wetting around the rim and a pastry lid. Push it on, seal it down. We haven't got a fire to put this into, so we're going to put it into an oven for at least 2 hours, maybe 3, at a gentle 170. Now this is one that I put into the oven about 2.5 hours ago. And it's a huge experiment because we've never made one of these before. That's what we love about these global cooking methods. Up until poking a beer earlier, I'd never done that before either. We take off the pastry lid.
Break it.
Which might need breaking or cracking or cutting with the knife.
That is rock flipping solid.
Now you've broken the seal, pour it out.
It's exactly what I expected to come out, really.
It's a lamb stew.
It's a lamb stew, but it's really reduced down, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Like, it's so succulent.
Now you've had the best part of the testy already, and that is the cracking open at the table, the celebration, and people gather to have that crack because the moment you crack into it, the aromas are released into the room and everyone can enjoy it.
I mean, that is slow cooked.
Beautiful.
Beautifully rich, melt in your mouth lamb with all of the delicious flavours that we put in there.
It's so unctuous. It's so moist. It's incredible.
And like salt baking, nothing escapes.
No.
Now, can I tell that from the flavour that it's been cooked in a clay pot? I don't think so.
As a tradition, I love it. As a technique, it hasn't affected the dish that much differently from a normal pot.
No. But,
Because we've cooked it in an oven, not a fire, but yeah.
but I do think as an insight into how dishes are traditionally cooked and the effect that they could have, it's great.
Well, 4 different global cooking methods. Comment down below which was your favourite. But boys, did you have one?
Beer poker was such a unique experience of hot head cold beer. It's hard to get past that as being my favourite.
Yep. I think
Jamie liked my hot head. Barry, do you like my testy?
Your testy delivered, Evans. I think they've all been absolute smash hits today, but I'm gonna have to agree with Jay that hot head.
Best head you've ever had.
Best head I've ever had.
Yeah.
I'm
And on that
sticking with
note,
it.
goodbye.